Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Hey, what's this?
How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up last night?
Yes.
We took that picture last night.
You did take that picture last night during Momentum Monday.
Yes, we did.
I'm like, look at all this gorgeousness. Okay. So today, as you can see,
Thank you so much.
today, ladies and gentlemen, as you can already see, immediately popped up on your screen, we are talking, and that's why the missus is with us today, all things marriage and money.
Yes, excited. By the way, if you see my glasses steaming, because I'm next to a hot lady right here, so just in case.
Welcome to everyone as you are jumping on, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Instagram Live. We are here and we're excited about this episode 42 episodes.
Yes.
And we're in, I believe Coach is saying that we're jumping into a couple of parts that have to do with marriage and money. Ooh, take it away. We are ready.
Absolutely. We're so excited because we did one of those. We covered everything, one episode, like early episodes, the podcast, but it was general. We covered every different topic. So we were getting so many people ask questions. How about say, you know what, let's have a series where we break it down different parts, different financial parts, and make it a series of it, like 3 to 4 weeks, right? And cover different topics. One topic we're going to talk about is life insurance and will. We're going to talk about the next one's going to talk about debt, credit, make sure how to use that effectively as a couple, maneuver those waters. And also we're going to talk about saving and investing, right? Also business ownership as a couple, also how to work together when you're building a business also with your spouse. Exactly. So it's going to be a lot of different topics. So there's going to be for the whole month of, so you're going to have us for the whole month of July, right?
I did not know that.
I kidnapped her.
Wait a minute. That's going to be great. So we have the whole month of July with Eileen.
Yes.
And you totally this out when we have a nighttime.
Yes, absolutely. He's running around the house somewhere. So I hope our house is one piece when we came back. He's by himself. He's 4 years old. He'll be okay, though.
Right. We're ready to learn. We're ready to learn. This is awesome. Everyone's really excited about that. All right, so let's do this thing. Here we go.
Let's talk about, it's craziest thing that everyone looks towards a honeymoon. If you think about it, right? When you're getting married, I think about like the process you have to go through when you ever get married, right? Think about the planning, especially on ladies, right? The bride. Think about everybody spends so much hours, days, weeks,
years,
months, years planning for the perfect day, from the ceremony,
5 hours,
the wedding dress, everything, the honeymoon, how to make everything so perfect, right? And everyone thinks so much. And if you ask an average couple, right, how much time do you think planning for after the honeymoon? And the answer is what? Not much, right? Everybody spends more time, energy on research, planning for the wedding, but not for the marriage itself, right? So everyone looks forward towards the honeymoon, but what happened to the moneymoon? It's when the wedding's over, right? And life together begins, including your financial life.
It's amazing that you can be so disciplined on a goal, on a target. Like, this is my day. It's only 4 to 5 hours long, but like my first daughter, it was 2.5 years, I think they planned for these 5 hours.
Yeah.
2.5 years, 5 hours, work their butts off, save money, right? the planning, the organization, the people flying in, and it was amazing, right? But then afterwards, here comes the afterwards.
Exactly. So what are some of the things that we can do? I mean, we talked about it before, right? If you look at the next slide, see there's a checklist. You got to have a checklist. Number one is you have to create a few simple programs, right, in the beginning of your relationship, right? And that's one of the conversations that people don't like to have because they don't. It's a hard conversation, but it's necessary to have these days, right? About money conversation. Are you yoked financially together? Do you have the right mindset, right goals? Because what happens eventually, listen, you can say, oh man, he's a great person. I'm attracted to her. I'm attracted to, and you get together, man. But there's certain things you have to agree on.
There's
certain
things that flaws that you don't want to show either because you don't want to turn off that person.
Yeah.
So there's things that in your secret they may not show later, but that's why you have a courtship. You have that intimacy. You have those questions. Like I'm like, ask about the family. Not only between us, I have to know about his family because his family is my family. His family is my responsibility at some point. Absolutely. So it's a lot, but it's just like I said, you made detailed organization for this wedding that's only 5 hours, but you have what? You have to have also that detail and asking questions. And there was another point I wanted to bring here that we are in a different time, different culture. Like Liz and I grew up where the spouse was the head that brought in income, the primary what's the word? Provider. Yeah. And usually we, growing up in our era, we were like the kids, the family, the cooking and all that. And as I'm talking to many young couples now, we're talking about people that are divorcees getting married. And then we have this young generation that they're coming in with, they make their money, he makes his money. And I don't see that fusion.
Right.
Coming. And I thought, maybe it's just one or two of no, but I'm coming across like the reason why budgets are not made is because they're not brought together and people have preference. And then I used to I am going to admit that I would judge, like, how could you not put your finances together? Like, isn't it one household? Isn't it that you? And I discovered that I should not judge because I don't know the circumstances between the spouses. Maybe a spouse has a habit that was discovered afterwards.
Right.
And then that causes the spouse to be like, oh, no. Now, you're going to be in charge of this and I'm going to be in charge of that. And I see a lot of that. When we sit down and do financial need analysis, we find out that the budgets, they have a budget and he has a budget. And it's like, how is this working? And that is a big deal in the culture that's coming up now. Even in our young people, I'm talking about 20-year-olds that are getting married, 30, they don't know how to merge. They don't know how to merge.
The families.
There's insecurities and there's things that are hidden. And that's a big factor.
Absolutely. And you're right about that. I mean, what are some things that we can do to be able to get that? Create a simple program and this is instruction not only for if you're married, but if you're in a process, like if you're getting married, those are conversations you got to have. If you're single, it's also important for you to know in advance the questions to ask in advance. So those 4 series is like, okay, I'm not married, doesn't relate to me. Absolutely. No. Absolutely. It does. If you plan on having someone in your life, those are conversations you gotta have eventually also. And if you're right now, like, I know, like your daughter said, she's engaged now, right? About to get married soon, right? Those are conversations that is very important to have right now also.
I'm like, what is your credit score?
Exactly.
Like, is it always been like that? Did you ever have bills? Were you ever living on your own? But this is also divorcees that get married, that find each other and find their loves afterwards. They have their own set of ways of doing things. And when that happens, they need to merge. That's difficult. And also when there's children that are adults or ex-spouses that they're still,
their families is very challenging also.
It's challenging. But
wash the waters,
I think the most important thing in all this is communication.
Absolutely.
Because when you communicate, you don't leave for doubt or for questioning or like, why did I get married? Like, why you start
Yeah,
to doubt.
you find out after the fact is when you find out certain things. And it is true. I think everybody who's watching here is already thinking to themselves, yep, that was me, or yep, that's so and so, or yep, because you go my husband and I, we had previous chapters, we came together, and this is just one example. I have a son, I'm paying his college tuition. Guess what? He has a son, he's paying his son's college tuition as well. So this is something that we needed to have a conversation about. So yes, those are so important. Create that budget.
Absolutely. And if you, those are questions you want to have, for example, like checkbox, pay down some debts. If you have any debts together, work together, start saving for your future together, right? Plan for the unexpected. This is what we're going to focus on. Plan for the unexpected, right? And also as a couple, create a total financial strategy. And you can change, we can adjust, we can learn, but you have to have some tools necessary, the willingness to learn and adjust. And you can actually be able to go in the right direction, right? So let's talk about income, life insurance. We call it income protection because some people call it life insurance, but I like to call it income because the purpose of life insurance is to protect your income, right? So let's take a look at it. What if you had a toaster in your kitchen, right? And on the 1st and the 15th of the month, of every month, $2,000 popped out of that toaster. Now, would you like that toaster? Everybody would say yes. Now, would you insure that toaster in case it broke down? The answer is yes. Unfortunately, right, there's no such toaster out there. You are the money machine for your family. So if it makes sense to insure an imaginary toaster, would it make sense to also insure your income? Protect your income. And that's the one aspect that people forget. Everybody protects their iPhones, their car, their house, every single aspect of their life except the one aspect of your life that pays for everything else, which is what? Your income.
That's a great analogy.
Absolutely. Right. And I'm going to show you a scenario, actually real scenario. What happens? Why is it important for you to protect your income? If you look at the next slide, right? This husband and wife, right? Husband and wife, with typical husband and wife, they each make $3,500 a month, right? A month, and then their income pays for their bills. What the income pays for, right? Mortgage, cars, insurance, credit card, utilities, groceries, childcare. So they have a total of $7,000 monthly bills. Because most people right now these days, all their income, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So all their income's paying for what? All their bills. It's going towards all their bills, right? But look at something tragic happens. If you look at the next slide, unfortunately, the husband passes away, or the other spouse. I don't know why they get the guy first, right? But usually we go
because statistically the male will die first.
So exactly. So let's say the husband or even the wife pass away. Look what happened. Not only is the husband not there, but guess also what disappeared? Their income. His income also disappeared. But let me tell you what stayed the same.
The bills.
The $7,000 monthly bill stayed the same.
Yep.
The mortgage is not gonna go cut by half because of that. The cars, right, are not gonna cut. If you have a car loan, they're not gonna. You're not here, so let's cut in half. No, your insurance is not gonna cut in half. Your credit card are not gonna get cut in half. Utilities are not getting cut in half. The groceries, maybe there's one less mouth to feed, possibly, and childcare is not gonna cut in half. So guess what happens? What will this family lose? They lose a lot. And I've seen that happen time and time again. This is not something that happens once in a while. That happens time and time again, Liz. I see it happen. It's tragic. Where think about your husband and wife, you work together to build a life together. You get all these, you work to get a home, to be able to provide a life for your family. And all these goals and dreams you have, just because you neglected that one thing, your protection, everything falls apart. It's like you go into life with no brakes. It's like you're going 60, 70 miles an hour on the highway, no brakes. It's tragic. It happens time and time again. And we've seen stories. I mean, I've seen more, terrible stories out there, right? Which we're going to talk more about. All right. So let's look at the next slide. See, but well, why does sometime, right? Why does sometime? There's three reasons. Like, let's say, for example, my husband and wife, a married couple, may not have life insurance. With kids, doesn't have life insurance, right? And for three different. Number one is they felt the need but never got around to it, which happens to some people, right? B, didn't think they could afford it, right? But C, which happens sometimes too, it really doesn't care about their family.
Right.
Don't say, oh my gosh, that's not true. See, he's your treasure always follow your heart. Your treasure always follow your heart. So people say they really don't care about their family. But that happens sometimes too. Because you find someone, for example, they'll have car insurance, right? And you say, well, you have your car. Who's more important, your income or your car? But I'm supposed to have my car. I like my car, right? I want to make sure I protect it in case it crashes. So if you protect your car, why won't you protect your family? It's just something your treasure will always follow. Whatever is important to you, you'll invest money in. See, if your family is very, very important to you, if your family is very important to you, you also protect your family. I mean, one of the decisions we made, listen, I made a commitment to my wife. I'm right for sickness or in health, for better, for worse, for richer or poorer. See, I don't want to just take care of my family when I'm alive. I want to be able to make sure if I'm not here, that she's gonna be, her family's gonna be okay also. Makes sense. If me okay also, and people forget that, and it's very tragic. And if I could share with, and there's a saying that says, unfortunately, this is a real conversation. Something not like this, but here's a conversation. Here's what someone said. It was very powerful. People that pass away, spouses that pass away, no life insurance, what they should do is have them come back to see the mess they left behind.
Give them a minute. Yep.
It's tragic. And I'm gonna share with you both scenarios I've seen happen time and time again. Right? I've seen situations where the husband or wife, someone passed away, right? Income, and left no life insurance. Maybe they never got around to it. That happens. But sometimes they just kept putting it, they never did it. Right? And I've seen situations happen where, man, the family mourns, they're devastated because they lost a person close to them, right? But guess what happens? After like a couple of days, life sets in. The bills start coming in. And now the spouse that's left behind feels neglected.
Yeah.
And feels resentful.
Yeah.
In a way, for the spouse, like, oh my God, you left me. You said that we're going to do this together, and you left me. Now I have to sit there and I have to deal with this. I have to deal with this. And it's tragic. So you can't even mourn the right way because you're dealing with financial stuff. And it's tragic. Versus, I've seen that happen. And guess what? You end up resent the person. I've seen it happen time and time again. Right? I've seen someone that passed away, right? He was he had all these awards and all these different things, right? And he unfortunately passed away. And after a while, you should see the family like, oh, look, he had all these awards, and look what happened. You're still struggling. And this is, and it sounds very crude, very direct, but this is what happens. I want to paint a picture what I see happen time and time again. Versus I've seen also different scenario where the spouse makes sure that the family was okay taken care of. And the conversation is totally different. It's totally different, Liz. Conversation is, oh my gosh, it was just, I miss him. I love her. I missed her. But guess what? She left us. He left us okay. Don't have to worry about money. We can mourn. The kids can, and I'm telling you, you can never replace the person. What you can do is replace the income. You can always replace the income. And I've seen scenarios happen where the family's able to be able to get by, be able to have some kind of normalcy in their life, right? So it's so important to make sure it happens. So this is why it's tragic. It's tragic, but it's why you got to make sure you protect. You got to make sure you protect. It's a different scenario that happens, right?
So good. So good.
Absolutely. So let's look at the next slide, right? For example, well, how much life insurance somebody needs, right? And this is a formula we talked about time and time again. We call it DIME, DIME, right? DI, very simple. D stands for death, for final expenses. You want to put an amount for final expense, right? Well, how much? Let's say if average funeral costs 10 to 15,000. Okay, so you want to have that amount final expense. I stands for income. Okay, experts recommend you have 7 to 10 times your annual income and protection. So if someone's making 50,000 a year, you should have between 350,000 to 500,000, right, of protection. M stands for mortgage. You want to be able to let's say if something happens to you, God forbid, you make sure your mortgage is taken care of. The balance of the mortgage. So you can have, let's say, if you owe 200,000 or 300,000, you can add 300,000 and say, okay, boom, to take care of more. And you can have it set up where it's customized, where actually it goes down a little bit as the mortgage balance goes down. The amount goes down also. So you can customize it a certain way to be able to have that. So if you have a 15 years or 20 years in your mortgage, you can have 15, 20-year plan option in there that takes care of the mortgage, the time of the mortgage. Okay, you have left. And E stands for education. Okay, so if you have young kids, right, you want to make sure, look, if something happened to me, God forbid, so the kids can have some money to go to college.
Right.
That's important also. So you want to have that aspect. So based on that, it'll give you an idea how much protection you need. And we found for 95% of people out there, Liz, they are underprotected. They're underprotected. They have small 50,000, 100,000, 25,000, which doesn't even cover enough. Doesn't cover enough. So you want to make sure you have the right amount of protection. You want to customize. You want to get as much as you can comfortably get at the price you can comfortably afford.
So that's kind of like the roadmap that'll tell you more or less how much your life insurance should be valued at.
Absolutely. How much you should
coverage.
The
How much coverage you
absolutely 100%. That's so important to have. And a lot of people don't really know. They have that's the challenge with the industry. The industry is out there. They're selling people $50,000 policies, $100,000 policies, and not even take how much does this family need? How much does family need? And they're selling the wrong kind of plans where people are over premiumed and underprotected.
Right.
That means they have very little coverage and paying too much money for whatever they have already, versus giving the family exactly how much protection they need.
Over premiumed, underprotected.
100% of the time, yes. And we talk about that. You shouldn't have to pay a lot for life insurance. You shouldn't have to pay arm and a leg for it. Make sense? Look at the next slide, right? So also you have to plan today. So right now you have to plan for the unexpected, right? Now you have to create a game plan so that if something happens, unexpected should happen. We talk about term life insurance. Term life is the best plan you can get, where you can get a lot more coverage for a lot less. Okay. So it's so important to have the right amount of term life insurance. Important. And also one thing that people really, really don't think about is a will. As a family, as a couple, you need to have a will.
I think the first thing that comes to your head, will is rich. I don't have a estate. I don't have assets. I don't have, and the only asset I have is the house, or maybe not a house, but the will goes beyond that.
Oh yeah.
It's not only property, asset, or estate. Like we got together and we were blended family. So we had to communicate, right? And I said, babe, we're blended family. So are we gonna acknowledge all the kids equally? Not this is my stepson, this is my stepdaughters and my son. Right. No, in our will together, our kids are equal. And they had to be put that way. We also have adults, but we also have one under 18. So if something happens to either or both, it says that Sophia is supposed to be looked after from her oldest sister, and then the oldest, second oldest. Everything had to be put there because there's money that's going to be left in her name. She cannot do anything because she's a minor, so she has to be designated a guardianship.
Yes.
So these things, no one knows when we're gonna go.
It's tragic. It's tragic. It's so tragic to have that, and people don't realize. And people, when I ask, like, do you have a will? It's like, no, I don't have a will. Well, yes, you do have a will, because if you don't have a will, whatever state you're living in has a will set up for you.
Boom, boom.
Everybody has a will. Everybody has a will. It's just not gonna be. It's not gonna be your will. It's gonna be their will. Everybody has a will. Everybody has a will.
Will is a testament putting order of what is yours and what. So guess what? You go to court. And they have it.
They have it.
And if probate. You don't have it,
yes.
It's called probate.
Probate, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. Is whatever. It doesn't matter how much you have. Everyone needs to have a will. I mean, we deal with a lot of we see it happen time and time again where people have no will set up for themselves. Like sometimes, especially, and it's very tragic. There's certain things automatically doesn't go to your spouse.
Mm-hmm. In different states.
And you need to have. Also, one thing we're talking, and I could spend, my God, we spent a whole episode on this, right? It's so important that you got to make sure that you have not only a will set up for yourself, but also a lot, like you said, a lot of things. A lot of people are, how can I say that, are married second time, second time married, and they were married before,
they
remarried before. I've seen tragic things happen, Liz, where a husband was married to his wife and put the first wife as a beneficiary on his
plan. That time, that's what it was.
Together, never changed it. Got divorced, got remarried to the second wife, was married for a decade with second spouse, never changed your beneficiary. Never took the time to change your beneficiary, and guess what happens? When he passed away, the first wife got everything, and you can't fight that when it comes to life insurance, investment. You can't fight. You can't say, "Well, I'm the new spouse. She didn't like him. He didn't like her. He was bad to her." It doesn't matter.
Lord, that's crazy.
It's legal, and no one can fight it. No one.
It's his responsibility to amend it, to change it
at that point in time. So that's another thing. Also, if we're in a situation where you have to ask those questions. You have your retirements. You have who's the beneficiary? Where do I stand on this? How do we do this? Those are hard questions that people don't want to ask, but they're very important to ask.
Hey, what's the average, or statistically the death happens? People think it's like 60, 80. It's not. It's a lot. In 30s, 40s,
50s. Like, listen. And our company, what we do, literally almost 40% of the claims that we pay are people that are 52 and under.
Oof.
So this is not something, is not people are saying, but even if you're 70, you gotta have something. You gotta have something put in place, a will, a trust. We're going to a tragic situation. We lost someone, and it's a lot to maneuver.
Yeah,
it's very complicated to maneuver. They had mine. It's very complicated.
But you know what? They got covered.
They got covered, which is important. But
everything else has to be sorted out.
Absolutely.
But the point is that there's money for the children. Yeah. Now, when they get it, we did our part.
Right.
We had them covered, but as a family, as a spouse, you have to put your house in order. And we did this in a series before. It says it in the Bible. You got to put your things in order, because it's just tragic. It's stressful. There's people that commit suicide because they just can't handle what's happening.
Situation.
The stress, the bills, the loss of the house, the car, they left abandoned.
It's tragic. They actually surveys that an average a widow within 2 years of a spouse, within a year, 2 years of that, they're actually
spouse
homeless. It's tragic. It's very tragic. And also ask right quick. Listen, and I know sometimes we're in a culture, and I'm gonna step on some toes, but we're in a culture where sometimes the especially an Hispanic culture, right? Like, well, the husband takes care of everything, and whatever it might be, or the other way around. You can't. Yes. No. It's too complicated. It's too complicated, and sometimes I've seen it happen, especially tradition where, well, my husband takes care of everything. When I hear that, I cringe. When I hear like my spouse takes care of the finances, I cringe. Yeah. I cringe because guess what happens? If something happens, God forbid,
clueless.
we have no idea what's going on. That leaves a mess,
Mm-hmm.
a mess out there. And I'm sharing with you, and also the husbands and wives, if you're in a situation, pivot. Let's adjust. Let your spouse know what's going on. Let your spouse, even if you have your kid, let them know what's going on. We don't know what's gonna it's gonna leave a bigger mess, and what's gonna happen is the state's gonna take care of stuff.
They're
Yes.
gonna make
The
decisions.
state's gonna make the decisions.
Mhm.
Mm.
And you have to, those are things you have to plan, you have to talk about it, you have to prepare, you have to make sure it's very, very, very important. Okay. Protection is important. You gotta have that whole macho thing. Sometimes I talk to the guys, the whole macho thing is just you gotta has to
Also,
stop.
I one time was in an appointment, and the spouse literally said, "Oh, I don't need life insurance because nothing was left to me." And I
Wow.
was, this was the husband talking, and I looked at the wife, and I was like, "You okay with this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, why did I say that?" It was just came out. I was like, "Ah, Eileen, why did you say that?" It just was like a reflex,
Yeah,
like,
like how?
"You
Yeah.
okay with this?" And she was like, I said, "You guys gotta talk, because if you love each other, you're supposed to be protecting each other, life or death after.
Yes.
After, it doesn't matter. Like,
Mhm.
this was the oh my goodness, this was the like. He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna leave her money so that she could find another man." You can't be jealous and dead at the same time. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
And then I was like, "Can I tell you something as a woman's perspective? If you leave me money, I don't need a man. I take care of my kids, and we go on vacation. We build that. Like,
it's
Yeah.
I
it's
could
so true.
find. I don't have to. You know what women do when they lose their spouse? They're like, they're
Yeah.
looking for someone to take care of them.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, especially you gotta the best thing. Listen, here's what I tell people. Listen, I may not be around. Makes sense. The our days are not our days. Let's say not promised. Makes sense. So when that, and I hope happens later on, much later on, right? But
Mhm.
I want to make sure if something happens, like to say, you know what, my dad took care of me.
Right.
My husband took care of me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make sure I was okay. Make sure I was okay. And I've seen the because this one I'm still in their lives. When you leave
Yes.
your spouse, your kid, something, you are still in their lives.
Mhm. They're grateful every day.
You are still in their lives.
Mhm.
I want you to pick. You're still in their life. I want you to picture
Mhm.
when you leave them something, when they go buy something, they eat, they pay their mortgage. It's because of because you were selfless.
Yes.
Right.
Because you were selfless.
Right.
That's why love has no conditions,
Mhm.
right? This is the ultimate act of love is make sure your family. Because guess what? You know what's important? Because there's no benefit from you except for them.
That's
Right.
why.
It's selfless. Love is selfless. So this is why you got to make sure everybody. You got to make sure that protected.
Yeah, like my children's father passed away. Will be, I think, 2 years this October, and he was also he knows about life insurance, so he always we co-parented. So he was like, "Eileen, every time there was one time that he couldn't make his premium, and he was like, and I say, if I can't make mine or you can't make yours, let us know, because we got to protect the kids."
Mhm.
You know, he got cancer, and he passed away 2 years ago, and I didn't know. I knew he had life insurance. I just didn't know how much. And to tell you that I kept my end, he kept his end, and he took care of those kids.
Mhm.
One of the girls were able to get married, stressless, no debt. My son continued to go to school and wasn't struggling, or stressed that later on he's gonna have, combined with what we had and combined what his father left. My other daughter was able to take care and get her car. You understand? That's all because of daddy,
Mhm.
because of their
Mhm.
every all the time. Oh my God, thank God daddy left us something.
Mhm.
And his grandson.
Mhm.
You know, so it is you can't tell me
It's worth it. You got to do it.
It's worth it.
it's crazy. You're not making a decision because it's $80 or $150. Like, because that's to me the average of what 60 to like 100, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's not 200, 500. It's not a car payment.
It's you'd be surprised.
That's how
people
My
pay
new
so much
is
money.
like, wow.
People spend actually more money on car insurance, right? Well, they don't mind spending $200, $300, $400, $500 a month on a car that's only worth $15,000, $20,000.
What's your family worth?
But they won't invest $100
Peace.
to leave their family maybe $500,000.
Yes, that's
And
so
to me,
wild.
That's why the priority is just doesn't make sense. And think about most people get life insurance, especially think about the worst thing is you lease a car, right? And the car is not even yours, technically. The car, I want you to picture this. The car is not even yours, technically. You're leasing a car, and the leasing company expects you to get full coverage on the car to protect against them in case something happens that they get.
Their asset is.
They get their assets. They get fully paid, fully restored, right? And you don't mind. Most people don't mind paying for it. Whatever amount it is, they'll find a way to pay for it.
It's acceptable.
It's acceptable to pay for
It's
it.
acceptable.
But
yet,
when it comes to, let's say, something happen, okay, how about you make sure your family are okay from generation to generation?
Yes.
Making sure your spouse is okay, making sure everything's okay. At that point in time, I'm not sure I can. And to me, it's just the values are really not good. It's like it's very suspect, very very suspect. You can't you can't say you can't say I really love, but it's really suspect.
Yeah.
And
so the term life insurance and a will.
Absolutely.
That's the game plan.
Absolutely. And if you look at the next slide to wrap it real quick, very simple. Listen, when you have a will, like we talked about, distribution of property is important. Take care of your children if you were to pass away. Those are things, those conversations you have to have. Make sure you have, especially like our situation where a blended family, you need to have those hard conversations. Yes, you do. Take the time and have those hard conversations. Put everything in paper. Have
kids are like, why are we talking about this? I said, because we have to talk about this.
Yes.
And you're okay with talking about this like nothing? I'm like, no, because it's everything.
It's a reality. It's a reality.
It's everything to me that you're taking care of.
You don't. I want you to think about this, and I'll leave with this. You work every day, 8-10 hours a day, 15. Some people 5, 10, 15, 20 hours, 20 years, 30 years, and if something happens to you, all that's gone.
Yeah.
All that is gone. Why would you like not want to protect it?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not want the insurance company to protect your family? Why would you want to shift the burden on your family versus shifting the burden to the insurance company? The insurance company's got billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Your family doesn't, right? That's why we use life insurance. The companies have a lot of money. They can take the risk. You can't.
Right.
Your family can't afford if something happened to you. The insurance company can. They can't do it. They have billions. They're okay.
And the wealthy use insurance as a generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
You want to explain that a little bit? Because I know
it's called by generational wealth because life is so cost effective. You're paying a little bit and your family's protect for a lot. So the responsibility and the risks shift 100% with the insurance company, none with you. When people see life insurance as the risk, is 100% with the insurance company. Mm-hmm. You have very little risk when it comes to life insurance. And I'll end with this. I've never, we've been to a lot of funerals. I've never, ever seen a family, when someone passes away, a family said, oh my gosh, we should have never had life insurance. That's the worst thing we did. Never happens. But you know what? Never happened. You know what I hear all the time? Oh my gosh. How come they didn't have life insurance? When someone passes, what's the first question people ask?
Did they
have life insurance?
Did they have a policy?
Did they have? Yeah, but no one talks about. But when someone passes, the first question to ask. What happened after? Here's what they ask: what happened?
Yeah.
How
What
did it pass
happened?
away?
How they have?
The second question is,
Did they have?
did it have
something?
anything? Are you gonna be okay? Second question to ask. So, to me, I mean, it's very hard to comment, but this is very, very important, and I'm very passionate. I love life insurance. I love what it does for families. I love how it does. People are like, well, I love life insurance.
And we can tell how you teach and instruct and advise, because this is giving advisement. The way you advise so clearly, so precise, so thorough for us to really understand the need of life insurance, why we should have life insurance, and just all of the ramifications if you don't have it. You know, it's provoking us to have conversations with our spouses. This is such a perfect subject, marriage and money. And this was just part one.
Yeah,
so we
part
can
one, yes.
another part.
A lot of different parts. Yes, next Tuesday we're gonna talk about debt, credit, how to navigate that as a couple together. Have those hard conversations also together, and make sure you prepare for it. And how to, if you're in a situation, how do we pivot and make it work? Okay.
So good. So good. Hope this is going to cause some conversations once we get off. I'm sure we're going to have some conversations with our spouses. And even if we have already taken care of the life insurance part, now we've provoked a conversation now about wills, because you have to have a will in place as well. And the money moon is over. Right? What's the money? You have the honeymoon is over.
The honeymoon's over. It's time for the money moon
starts.
Honeymoon starts.
Exactly. Yes. My husband can't wait for part 2. Neither can I. This is going to be really good. Thank you guys so much for always just sharing your wisdom the way you do. And we know that it's going to be a next episode next week. Is going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you all so much for watching and for joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Bye to the beautiful couple. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition. And until then, keep building your empire.